Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Thursday, 6th March 2022, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. An IMF Staff Report doesn't paint a good picture for St. Kitts' CBI Program. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. The staff concluding statement of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF 25 Article 4 mission for St. Kitts and Nevis indicates further decline in revenue from the Citizenship by Investment Program will present fiscal pressure for the country. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
However, in the medium term, progress made towards geothermal energy presents an opportunity for growth. It is believed that the securing of funding to commence drilling of the geothermal wells points to creation of additional sources for growth and fiscal revenue. The St. Kitts and Nevis 2025 Article 4 mission statement issued by the IMF on 26 February recommended a number of measures aimed at strengthening the fiscal standing of the government while enhancing the capability of the government to respond to natural disasters or enhancing the country's developmental prospects. Among these measures recommended were the implementation of tax reforms that would reduce dependency on CBI revenue, the phasing out of all pandemic-related tax breaks, as well as limiting public wage increases and employment. The statement also called for better targeting and effective social spending. The proposed setting up of a sovereign wealth fund gets the IMF support, with the indication that the fund should absorb any, quote, upside in the projected CBI revenue, reduce the impact of volatile and uncertain CBI revenue on the budget, and the creation of fiscal buffers against natural disasters, end quote. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
National Security Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Fitzgerald Hines, believes the police service has struck a well-oiled formula to bring crime and criminality under control, which has led to a safe and successful Carnival 2025. Sunil Lala of TTT News reports.
National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines says the recent action of government to implement a state of emergency has assisted the police service greatly in bringing about increased safety for the Carnival period in particular. During a walkabout in downtown Port of Spain to witness Carnival Tuesday activities, he said the SOE has been quite effective in putting fear into the criminals.
Many of them have fled Trinidad and Tobago to get out of the view of Mr. Benjamin and his teams. And many have been dealt with in accordance with the law and in accordance with the powers of the state of emergency. All of these things coming together to make Trinidad and Tobago the way we are today, to be able to celebrate Carnival in an atmosphere of peace across the country.
Acting Police Commissioner Junior Benjamin said things have gone mostly according to plan, despite one incident in San Fernando where a man was crushed by a music truck.
We are grateful there is no untoward incidents except for that situation that we are investigating. And again, we will not make a call until the vehicle has been checked by, the necessary authorities. Other than that, we had some minor things, but it certainly had nothing to do with the crime situation in terms of the Carnival.
He noted that there has also been a greater visibility of police officers for Carnival 2025.
I can tell you that probably we have at least about 70 to 80% of our officers that has turned up, and we will continue to at least, seek to increase those numbers even as we go because we have a shift system.
And the Gold Commander ACP Richard Smith confirmed that at least 2 music trucks were taken off the road for breaching certain requirements.
We had one person taken off the road on Sunday, as well as yesterday. We had one person taken off the road for infringement of the specifications of these permits. As we speak, we have persons, trucks being inspected by Inspector Guy Prasad and a team of persons from the licensing office. We have an enforcement team. So they have some trucks that they are checking now.
He added that the trucks were taken off due to height stipulations on Aria Peter Avenue and South Key, where the trucks pulled on some overhead lines. Sonlala, TTT News.
Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has made a startling accusation directed towards the United States. President Maduro has claimed that Washington has built secret military bases in Guyana's oil-rich region Essequibo. In recent months, Maduro has escalated his campaign to claim Essequibo, an oil-rich region of Guyana. America maintains strong diplomatic ties with Guyana, providing them with military assistance and support. How significant are Maduro's claims, and do they carry any substance? Palki Sharma of First Post brings us this report.
Now let's turn our attention to South America, where a big claim by Nicolas Maduro has sparked a debate. He's the Venezuelan president, Maduro. He says America's CIA has secret military bases in the region, inside the territory of Essequibo, controlled by Guyana and claimed by Venezuela. This region is rich in oil. It is also disputed. Maduro claims Essequibo belongs to his country, Venezuela. Guyana refutes this claim, and with good reason. They have administered Essequibo for a century now. They say it's theirs. So what is Maduro trying to do by dragging the US into this dispute? He's trying to win some support by highlighting America's history of war over oil. Our next report revisits America's controversial past.
A century-old dispute has flared up in South America again. An oil-rich region is at the heart of it. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro says the Americans have their sights on the disputed region.
And we have proven information that in the territory of Guyana, temporarily administrated by Guyana, they have installed secret military bases of the Southern Command, military nuclei of the Southern Command, and nuclei of the CIA.
This row is over Essequibo, a territory of Guyana, which Maduro claims belongs to Venezuela. In 2015, major oil deposits were found off Essequibo's shore by a consortium led by ExxonMobil, an American oil giant. Extraction activities started 4 years later in 2019, and they have transformed Guyana, generating some $1 billion a year for the country. But Maduro says this boom is effectively an American takeover, and Guyana's President Irfan Ali is working for American oil interests.
The president and Irfan do not govern Guyana. Guyana is governed by the Southern Command, the CIA, and ExxonMobil, and I am not exaggerating.
Maduro's claims revolve around an office in Guyana. It was set up by the US Defense Department. Reports say this office is for security cooperation, and its staff advise Guyana's defense force. America maintains security ties with Guyana, providing military support and training to the country. Both countries also hold joint military drills together. And that's a problem for Maduro. Last year, he stirred up a storm. Maduro held a referendum, one that ended up reviving Venezuela's claims over Essequibo. For the longest time, Venezuelans have argued that Essequibo was stolen from them over a century ago. The referendum allowed Maduro to revive the claim and begin efforts to seize it. At the time, America stepped in. US forces joined Guyana's defense forces and kick-started training exercises to keep Maduro at bay. The Venezuelan president now is drawing attention to this relationship and using the opportunity to inject fresh momentum into his campaign. America's history in oil-rich regions may add weight to his arguments. Before 2001, Iraq's oil industry was closed and nationalized. But the American invasion paved the way for Western oil companies to enter Iraq. Names like ExxonMobil, Chevron, BP, and Shell established operations in the country and kicked off extraction operations. They remained in Iraq long after the American soldiers were gone. For Iraq, the invasion was a big blow to its economy as well as its financial reserves. Iraq lost around $150 billion worth of oil revenues. The funds were taken out of the country illicitly after the invasion. Maduro is bringing up America's past to make his case, but it remains to be seen if his arguments will find any takers.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, David Comisiong, supports youth involvement in the regional grouping and having a platform for the voice of young Caribbean nationals to be heard. Their voices were amplified during a recent CARICOM Heads of Government Summit hosted by Barbados, where several topics were highlighted by young Barbadians who took part in the conference, including artist Cindy Celeste and CARICOM Youth Ambassador Ashley Lashley. According to Ambassador Comisiong, CARICOM has evolved over time, telling youth they have the support structure. His comments came during the conversations on CARICOM segment of CBC TV8's Morning Barbados.
We all have this support structure to give us solidarity, to reinforce us, to know that as difficult as this world may become, we are not in it. We are not in it. We are not in it alone. And I think that's the confidence that I want our youth to have. That within our region, our Caribbean nation, our Caribbean civilization, they have a space that, will protect them.
Yes.
And will provide them with a platform for going forward and doing well in this world.
In Jamaica, there was a death at the U.S. Embassy by a visa applicant.
A visa applicant died at the U.S. Embassy this morning. In a statement issued this afternoon, Public Affairs Attaché Mike Lavallee said that a Jamaican national experienced a medical emergency while visiting the embassy. Mr. Lavallee revealed that at approximately 8:20, the individual suffered a medical episode, and despite immediate medical attention, he tragically passed away. A member of the public who was at the embassy told our news center that the man collapsed shortly after entering the compound. The embassy said the body was later removed by a funeral home in accordance with the local laws and procedures. The U.S. Embassy says it is deeply saddened by the passing. The mission argued that out of respect for and privacy of the deceased and the family, it was unable to provide further details.
The government of Barbados is embarking on a drive to transform the island's education landscape to make Barbados the #1 education system in the world. Word says the island's education system over the last few decades has been modeled on what obtained under the colonial system. He urges students to craft a future for themselves and to see the rest of the world as their destination for success.
We must now shape our country and the future of the country in an image that reflects our ambitions, our values as a people, and therefore your learning experience must now reflect one of Bajanness, innovation, agility, but also thinking global. How do you now move from foundation school or wherever you go from here through our education system and become world-class citizens that can engage with your counterparts across Europe, across Africa, across the Arab world, across Latin America and the Caribbean, and to be the best, and to be also global thinkers?
Senator Blackman made it clear, however, that education transformation was not only about the schools and teachers, but included parents as well. He urges students to take ownership of the educational transformation and challenged them to submit ideas on the way forward through their respective student councils. He says he wants to see innovative ideas coming out of this country, as education is more than just certification.
Challenge our young people to not only become persons who have high levels of certification, of course, the CXCs, the CAPES, the associate degrees, bachelor's, master's, PhDs. Those are necessary, but equally they're not sufficient. And for a long time, our country has benefited from that, but it's taken us so far no further. It is now time for us to now create a nation that has at its core a people who are owners of wealth and capital. And therefore you must now take your studies and your ideas into being in that mode.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.